Very good morning, all my dear students. Welcome back. Hope you are doing good. In the last class, we discussed characteristics or properties of PPC, or you can call it PPF. PPF would mean production possibility frontier. PPC is production possibility curve. Both are alternate names for the same concept. And the two most important characteristics of PPC were there. That is, one, it slopes downwards, and the other, it is concave shaped. In economics, you will come across this word downward sloping a lot of times for the entire session. Sloping downward, any curve would slope downward whenever there is an inverse relationship between the two variables you take on x-axis and y-axis. That is, if one increases, the other falls, or if one falls, the other increases. And we discussed example also in the last class. Whenever there is such a negative relation between two, inverse relation is also known as negative relation. Whenever there is this negative relation between any two variables, if you plot the numbers, you will always find a downward sloping line. Therefore, PPC also slopes downwards because on one axis we take the production of good X, and the other axis we take production of good Y. And because if we want to have more of one good, that can be produced only by taking resources away from the production of other good. So that is why PPC is downward sloping, because more of X you can only produce if you reduce the production of Y. And the second property we discussed was PPC is concave shaped. And again, downward sloping can be straight line, can be convex, can be concave. I showed you in the last class. And why PPC turns out to be concave? Because though we are reducing the quantity of the other good if we have to produce more of one good, but here basically we are reducing more and more units. This word is very important when it comes to concavity. This is the word which gives it concave shaped. More and more units of one commodity are sacrificed to gain an additional unit of another commodity. Every time we are losing more and more of that particular commodity. In our case, we lost Y. So every time the loss in terms of Y is so much more as compared to earlier loss for the same one additional unit of X. That is why when we plot the numbers, when we plot the entire production possibilities on the graph, it turns out to be concave shaped. And why do we lose more and more units of one commodity? Because no resource is equally efficient in production of all the goods. So this was all which we have already done. This concept was also covered, that we will operate on PPC only if resources are fully and efficiently utilized. So obviously no economy operates on PPC. There is always a scope of increasing production because all the resources are not fully utilized. Some people are always left unemployed, some land is always put to waste, some resources are always lying idle. That is why economies usually operate inside PPC when resources are not fully and efficiently utilized. Outside PPC, we cannot operate actually because that's unattainable combination with the given productive capacity that we have. So all the points which were on PPC were attainable, but obviously we are not here. This point is attainable again inside PPC, and this point outside PPC is not attainable. So all this was covered in the last class. This was a little recap of what we have done. The remaining portions in the chapter is not there in the syllabus. So this, though we have done PPC and MRT, we have done it, and it is an important question also, like discuss the concept of PPC and MRT. So this can be asked as an important question. Construct your own hypothetical example. Hypothetical is like your own imaginary numbers. Construct your own hypothetical numerical example to show the concept of, to explain the concept of MRT and PPC. So you have to do this question in the register also. Construct your own example. Today we'll be discussing a lot of numericals. So you will get an idea of how to construct the right numerical example to explain the concept of MRT and PPC. MRT is nothing but the slope of PPC. Slope of any curve is change in y upon change in x. So MRT is change in y is loss and change in x is gain. So MRT is loss upon gain only. So that becomes the slope of PPC. So these topics, can PPC be a straight line? We will not do. It will turn out to be a straight line only if MRT is constant. So actually in reality MRT is not constant. In reality MRT is increasing. MRT is how many units you are losing, how many units of good Y you are losing to produce one more unit of good X, and that is always increasing. We are losing more and more units every time. Earlier we lost 1 unit, then we lose 2 units, then we lose 3 units, then we lose 7 units, then we lose 9 units, and the loss is every time increasing because less the resources for the two goods are not equally efficient in production of both the goods. For example, if I ask you to maybe um, score, let us suppose 80 on 80 on in accountancy, and then initially I took two children and I just wanted them to score, I just wanted 80 marks ka score in accounts, additional 80 I wanted there. So earlier one student was able to score 80 himself, then I had to take three students together, they could score 80 actually. With the efforts, with the combined efforts of those three students, we could have additional 80 marks in accounts. Then I had to take five students because they were not that much efficient in accountancy as they were in business studies maybe. So that's how it goes on. When resources are not equally efficient, we have more and more loss every time. Earlier I had to lose one student and I had to shift that student to accountancy. Then I lost three students and then I lost five students, and the loss will go on. Then I'll be needing, in fact, even more students to do that work. Similarly, it happens anywhere. If I want you to decorate the class, I'll select the best ones first who can be. Otherwise, you all are doing the other good which you are doing is maybe you all are from the sports team and there you all are really efficient. But then now I want some artists to decorate the class, and then I'll pick up the best ones initially so that the loss on the sports side can be the least. But then I'll be needing more and more production on the decoration side, so I'll keep losing more and more students on the sports side because they lack efficiency in production of decorating the class. So whenever MRT is constant, it means we are losing every time fixed number of units of good Y to produce 1 unit of good X, which does not happen in reality. In that case, it will turn out to be straight line downward sloping. And when PPC is concave, why? When MRT is decreasing, when less and less units of a commodity are sacrificed. This we don't have to do actually. So these topics we are not taking. PPC and opportunity cost already covered. Change in PPC, again not there in the syllabus, so you can cut this topic. Change in PPC, all those who have book, they can cut the page straight away. 1.15 is not there. Shift in PPC we are not doing, although you should be having a little idea. When does PPC shift rightward, and what does it actually mean PPC is shifting rightwards? It means earlier we were able to produce till here, and now we can produce till here. Our production possibility horizon has increased by this much. I'm so sorry. Our production possibility has actually increased by this much. And what does it mean? It means that now we are able to produce more than earlier. But why? What are the reasons when PPC shifts rightward? Maybe there are growth of resources in our country, more money is coming out, let us suppose more foreigners are investing in our country. These are the reasons why how growth of resources takes place. Growth of resources can be with anything: discovery of new natural resources, like more petrol is found, beneath the earth's surface, more minerals and deposits are found. So now if our resources are increased, we can produce more than before. Our production possibilities have increased, so that is why PPC shifts rightward. Or when there is inflow of foreign capital, means more foreigners are investing in our country, then again resources in our economy has increased, so we can produce more than before. So these are all the reasons why PPC shifts rightward. We will be not taking it in exam, so it is not there in the syllabus, leftward and rightward shift in PPC. Again, rotation is not there, so you can cut it for now, 1.16 page also. So the concepts which were there in the syllabus are already done. This is just the overview of the entire chapter. PPC slopes downwards. Why? It is concave shape due to increasing MRT. It shows transformation of one good into another. Not physically. Obviously, you're not physically turning apples into oranges, but you are sending the farmers from the production of apples towards the production of oranges. You are diverting the resources from one use to another. That is why it is known as transformation curve. Then PPC shows the maximum available possibilities. This is a production possibility curve. This is not the production curve of our country. This is not where we are actually producing. This shows where we can produce. Then if the economy operates on PPC, it means resources are fully utilized. If it is inside, it means resources are not fully utilized, and we cannot go outside PPC. Outward shift means we can produce more of both the commodities now. Inward shift means we can produce less of both the commodities, these 2 points which we are not taking in the syllabus, rightward and leftward shift. Now let us just take the practicals on opportunity cost. Just start with the questions relating to this chapter for a better understanding of the concept, and some questions were, I think, already given to you, or some I'll be giving later also to complete and have a better understanding of the chapter. Let us take the first question. Deepak is working as a sales manager at a salary of 1 lakh per month. He received 2 more job offers. First, he's already working as a sales manager at a salary of 1 lakh. And he received 2 more job offers. He got an offer of 70,000 from Reliance Industry and offer of 85,000 from Tata Industry. What is his opportunity cost for working as a sales manager? If you recall, what is the definition of opportunity cost? It is the cost of, just recall, what is the definition of opportunity cost? The cost of next best alternative. So whatever alternatives are given to us, this is the point to take care of. It is the cost of next best alternative. This is important. So now he's working as sales manager at a salary of 1 lakh, and one offer gives him 70,000, that is from Reliance, and other offer gives him 85,000 from Tata Industries. So what is the cost Deepak is paying by working as a sales manager in this company, in whichever company he is working? So the opportunity he has availed is fetches him 1 lakh rupees, but the opportunity cost is the cost of next best alternative. And out of these two, which one is the better alternative? Rupees 85,000 from Tata Industry. See, if only this much information is given, we will assume that all other job conditions are similar. Like, we will not take distance into consideration as of now because no other information is given to us. So we will assume rest all the conditions are similar in all the 3 job offers. Only the amount varies. So the next best alternative is 85,000. So 85,000 rupees is Deepak's opportunity cost. Let us see it here. This you can see now. In the given case, the next best offer for Deepak is that of 85,000 from Tata Industries. So his opportunity cost for working as a sales manager is 85,000. This is how you have to write the answer. Let's take the next question. A farmer produces 100 kg of wheat on a piece of land with the help of given quantity of resources. This farmer can also produce 70 kg of rice with the same quantity of resources on that land. Then what is the opportunity cost of producing wheat? If, see, either he can produce 100 kg of wheat on that land, or he can produce 70 kg of rice. So if he has chosen to produce 100 kg of wheat on that land, it means he is losing 70 kg of rice. So the opportunity cost of producing wheat is 70 kg of rice. This is what he has to let go. This is what he is not getting with himself. Okay, this is something he has lost. So that's the opportunity cost of producing 100 kg of wheat. And please keep this thing in mind. If a certain resource does not have alternate uses, let us suppose this land in this question, which produces 100 kg of wheat with some resources, cannot produce any other good. Like, it is only suitable for the production of wheat, this land, and you cannot produce any other crop, you cannot make any other use of this land. Like, it is not good for construction purpose also, nothing at all. So what is the opportunity cost in that case? In that case, there is no next best alternative. So whenever we don't have any next best alternative, the opportunity cost is zero, because whatever opportunity that land could give you was production of wheat, and that you're already doing, but you're not losing anything by producing wheat on that land, because that land is not good for anything else. So when resources have alternate uses, then only we have opportunity cost, and resources do have alternate uses. We have done this in our features of resources, that they are limited, also they have alternate uses. All our resources have alternate uses. This time when you're taking the lecture, you must have some alternate also, you could do something else. So the opportunity cost of taking the lecture is losing that satisfaction from doing something else which you could do. Okay, so that was one of the examples. So this is also an important question. Sometimes it is asked in exam. If the what is the opportunity cost of of using a resource which has got no alternative use? So if it has got no alternative use, then you cannot use it anywhere else. So there is no opportunity cost. Opportunity cost will be zero. That's how you can write the answer. Okay. Next questions are on PPC or PPF. Calculate MOC. To recall the definition, I'll like to tell you MOC is what? Number of units lost of one good to produce 1 unit of the other good. Okay. Now, if we see the question, it is given horizontally. Till now we have been doing it vertically, so don't get confused. This commodity, we have the economy is producing two goods, commodity A and commodity B. Now if we see commodity A is increasing by 1 unit, so this we are gaining, and commodity B we are losing every time. So whenever you construct an example, hypothetical example of your own, I want to see everybody's example, numerical example. I want to see everyone's example. Everyone means everyone. And I also do not see actually all the names in the attendance in the comment section. I really don't want to take names here, but students, the moment you get online and start taking the lecture, you have to mark your attendance with your name and section. That's it. It does not take a lot of time. So please mark your attendance positively. That's a record for how many students every day are attending the lecture. Okay, so let us just see without revealing the answer first. Again, MOC is the number of units lost for gain of one particular unit, and here gain of one unit is only given, so MOC is very easy to find. So in first case 0.15, we have not lost anything, we have not gained anything, we are just using all our resources for B. So commodity A is 0, and in this case we'll put a dash. Now going from 15 to 14, how many units we have lost? We have lost 1 unit. And how many units we have gained? We have gained 1 unit. So MOC is always mentioned in context with the gain of 1 unit. So in this case, when you are losing 1 unit, your MOC will be this 1. First case we'll put a dash. In second case, with the gain of 1 unit, we have lost 1 unit. So MOC is 1. Third case, 14 to 12, we have gone to produce 1 more unit of good A. economy needs to sacrifice 2 units of good B. So MOC is increasing. See, please keep in your mind whatever hypothetical example you are going to create, your MOC will be increasing. MOC or MRT? MRT is in ratio, MOC is just the loss. Only the numerator of MRT becomes MOC. So we have lost 2 units here with the gain of 1 unit. Then economy has gone from 12 to 9 to produce 1 more unit here. So the loss is 3 units. Then economy has gone from 9 to 5 to produce 1 more unit here. It means to have to gain 1 more unit of A, economy lost 4 units. Then we went from 5 to 0, that is to produce 1 more unit here. Economy went from 5 to 0. So now the production of B has gone to 0. So the loss is of 5 units. So that's how the MOC is calculated. 0 dash 1 2 3 4 5. We will not write 0 here. Dash means you cannot just find it. There is no enough information to find MOC here. So in first case you will put dash because you don't know how many units you have lost. Actually you have just started producing. Earlier you shifted all your production towards B. Next question, same, determine MOC. Now this is commodity A, one we are losing from 20 to 10, another we are gaining. Always you will lose one and gain another. Why? Because resources are fixed. So to gain the units in good 1, you have to lose some units in good 2. So commodity A we are losing, commodity B we are gaining. Now MOC is how many units we have lost for the production of 1 unit. Now here the gain is given for 4 units. Economy is going from 10 to 14, but loss is given 10 units. So PPC MOC is not 10 actually here. We have lost 10. Actually 10 units are lost for 4 units. We are losing 10 units for the gain of 4 units. So what you see here, what is the loss for per unit gain? 10 units are lost when economy is gaining 4 units, right? Then what does it mean? How many units we have lost if we are gaining 1 unit only? Because MOC we have to calculate if we need to find out the gain for 1 unit. It means when economy is producing 4 units, we had to lose 10 units. So it means for 1 unit economy has lost how many units? 10 divided by 4, which is actually 2.5. So that's the PPC in this, that's the MOC in this case. Let us see the answer. See, commodity A and commodity B. First case we'll always put a dash because we do not have enough information. Economy was producing 20 units of A and 10 units of B. We don't know how many we have lost because we don't have information above this. So 20 of X and 10 of Y we were producing, but then to gain 4 more units in B, we had to lose 10 units in A. It means to gain 1 unit in B, we had to lose, on an average, we had to lose 2.5 units in A. So that means 2.5 is the MOC in this question. Please let me know on the WhatsApp if there is any doubt in this question. I am ready to clear. You're always welcome. Your doubts are always welcome. No problem. So the point to remember is the loss always has to be calculated for the gain of 1 unit. So if in the question the gain is given for 4 units, the loss is also meant for 4 units only. So now you will find this loss for one particular unit. For gaining 4 units, economy lost 10 units. It means for gaining 1 unit, economy lost 2.5 units. In the previous question, we did not have to divide anything. Why? Because already the gain was given for 1 unit every time. We were going from 1 to 2, then we were going from 2 to 3, and then from 2 to 3 to 4, and so on. Okay, so in that case, the loss, whatever loss was there, was always for 1 unit. So there was no need to divide anything. In this case, the loss which is given is meant for 4 units. So we had to divide. Let's take the next question. Compute MOC, again the same question. They have written it vertically. Good X will be written like this vertically. And then good Y, 0 10, 20, 30, 40. Please pay attention. The gain here every time is given for 10 units. Economy is going from 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, and then 20 to 30, and then 30 to 40. Okay, so the loss has to, and see how much is the loss. In first case, we'll put a dash. Then if you see, economy is going from 0 to 10 and it is losing 20 units because we are going from 200 to 180. So for a gain of 10 units, we are losing 20 units. It means for a gain of 1 unit, how many units we have lost? 20 upon 10, 2. See, please pay attention. Had it been 0 and 1 here, if there was 1 here, then the MOC would have been 20 only. If economy was going from 0 to 1 and 200 to 180, then we would have simply written MOC as 20, because for MOC is the number of units lost for the gain of 1 unit of the other good. Okay, so if the gain was of 1 unit, then MOC is whatever the loss is shown here. But in this case, the gain is of 10 units. So we have to find the gain for 1 unit. We have to find the loss for 1 unit. And the loss for 1 unit would be whatever the loss we have made, that is 20 units, and divided by the total gain, that is 10 units. So 2 units we have lost per gain, per unit gain actually. I hope this is clear. Then economy is going from 10 to 20 and it is losing 40 units. 180 to 140 we are going. Again, we are losing 40 units but with a gain of 10 units. It means 4 units are lost this time for a gain of 1 unit. Next, economy is going from 140 to 180. So what will be the MOC? We have lost 60 units but again with a gain of 10 units. So 60 upon 10, if we'll get the gain, we'll get the loss for 1 unit. So 6 units are lost for a gain of 1 unit because we were losing 6 units every time. So when we lost 60 units, we were gaining 10 units here. Then again, economy is moving from 10 to 30 to 40. It means we again gained 10 units, but we lost 80 units this time. So losing 80 gives us 10 units. So how many do we have to lose? It means which will give us 1 unit. So 80 divided by 10, we have lost 8 units per gain, per unit gain actually. To gain 1 unit, we had to lose 8 units. So this is the MOC in this case, dash 2, 4, 6, 8. You will show like this whenever the gains are given for more than 1 unit. You will show your calculation in this column. So 3 columns have to be made: good X, good Y, or whatever the name of the good is given in the question. If it is good A, then good A. If it is X, then it is X. And MOC, you'll write the formula whenever the tables, numericals are asked and you have to form a table. You have to write the formula on the top. That's it. Every time there is no need to write the formula here, and you can show your calculation here. Also, you could show your calculation for just one step and later you can just write 468. That can also be done. But this question you write for all the rows because this is the first time you are doing such a question. Let's take the next question. I hope this is clear. Okay. The following table depicts the production possibilities of commodities X and Y. Two commodities economies producing, one is X and one is Y. X we are increasing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Y we are reducing 10, 9, 7, 4, 0. See the gain: 10 to 9, 1 unit loss. 9 to 7, 2 units loss. Then 7 to 4, 3 units loss. And then 4 to 0, 4 units loss. So do not copy your own example from the book's example. You can start with any number. You can start with 10. Also, you can start with 100. You can start with 90. You can start with any number. Like you could have, written here 100 also. That was also okay. Like I could create one example where I could write here 100 or maybe this could be 100. Then I could have lost, let us suppose I could have lost 2 units, then this could be 98. Okay, then it would be 98, so 2 units loss. Next time I'm losing more than 98, so it would be any number where you are losing more than 98. So let me take 91. Okay, so this time I have shown a loss of 7 units. Then I have to take any number which shows a loss more than 7 units. So let me take 80. So this shows a loss of 11 units. Let me take next number as maybe which shows a loss of more than 11. So let me just take 65. This or 60, yeah, 65. So this shows a loss of 15 units. So this is how you have to create your example. One side you just take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the other side where you are losing the gain. Please keep it simple. Whenever you are asked to create your own hypothetical example, the gain you keep it simple. The gain you can keep with of 1 unit only, so that you don't have to divide it to calculate the loss. And the loss you can just keep anything, but just take care every time you are losing more units than before. Okay, see, for the first time I'm losing 2 units here. Next time I'm losing 7 units to produce one more unit here. Next time I'm losing 11 units to produce one more unit here. Next time I'm losing 15 units to produce one more unit here. So I can be losing any number of units. I could have started it with the any other number also. You can create any example. Just make sure that you keep the concept right. So that's all for today. This is the question I gave you. Construct a hypothetical example. Where had the question gone? Yeah, here is the question, I think. Wait. No, this is not the question. So the question was construct a hypothetical numerical example to show the concept of MRT and PPC. And in the next class, we'll discuss more numericals related to the chapter. We'll discuss some MCQs. Make sure you get them or you let me know. So I hope this all is clear. We'll cover the remaining questions in the next class. Till then, take care. See you all. God bless you. Thank you so much for being good listeners and attending the lectures. Just be on time in marking your attendance also. Take care.